Hi, we've rated the Strata fractional ownership pre-leased property, which happens to be an office space in Navi Mumbai as 8.65 on 10. Hi, this is Raj Shah from Invest in Pre-Leased. Three reasons why you should invest with us. Invest in pre-leased when you're making your fractional real estate investment decisions. Number one, between Rishi and I, we have a combined experience of 20 years in real estate transactions. Number two, we keep only your interest in mind when we are evaluating opportunities. As you will see, the sincere attempt that we are making in terms of a detailed review, to that extent, also meeting the top management of the asset managers to understand and feel confident ourselves that not only they have the chops to acquire a property, but eventually also give us an exit. And number three, we charge you no fees for fractional ownership investments. Of course, we will charge you for fully owned property. These are the three reasons why you should be investing with us.
Hi, this is Rishi Dedhia. Moving straight to the Strata Navi Mumbai office opportunity. First is know your tenant. Now, Tenant is a 146-year-old MNC, a conglomerate that is based out of Dusseldorf in Germany. They have 52,000 employees globally, $30 billion in terms of revenue. They have a very strong footprint in India. They have close to around 5 manufacturing setups, 2 R&D and innovative setups, and 5 beauty academies. They are having a presence in the adhesive industry and also the beauty care and hygiene and home care products. In India, they have a very strong portfolio for adhesive products and beauty care products. All in all, we know that this Tenant is a very strong company, and I think we'll go ahead with 0.5 on 0.5 for this particular point. Now, this is a Fortune 500 global or an India Fortune 100. Unfortunately, this company was earlier a part of Fortune 500 and now it is a part of Fortune 1000. But since we have mentioned a criteria of Fortune 500 as or India Fortune 100 as our point system, that's the reason we are going with 0 on 0.25. Yes, this company is absolutely profitable, and that's the reason we are giving 0.25 on 0.25. Tenant industry outlook, where we know this industry is having a great future. Currently, the infrastructure work is going on, a strongest boom across. We see a lot of movement in India in terms of infrastructure work happening. So adhesive industry will definitely have a lot of boom in terms of requirement from a lot of industries that are helping in building the infrastructure. We know grooming is something that has taken up strongly. I think everyone is very conscious about the way they look, the way they things are for them personally. Be it male or female, the beauty care industry is actually growing at a very different. All in all, we know that this industry has a very strong future, and that's the reason we are going ahead with 0.25 on 25. So know your tenant is at 1 on 1.25. Knowing your asset. Now, this is a 40-acre development that's happening. The contract was awarded to L&T and they were developing. Seawoods actually was a station, and this station has a 40-acre land parcel along it where there is a mixed-use development that is in place. Right now, there is 1.7 million square feet of office space that is already being, there is 1.5 million square feet of mall or a retail space that is already operational. They have close to around 1,500 apartments which are there. Asset is basically constructed by L&T. We don't need any certificate for the kind of quality asset that they have created. We know their work. L&T has the biggest order book or largest order book in the country right now with kind of infrastructure projects that they are doing. And this is also one of the finest projects from their stable. Again, the only concern is that the building was constructed in 2015. They have received OC in 2016, part OC. With that little tinge of the timeline that is there and with the kind of quality, we would not go ahead with 0.5, but we'll give you 0.4 on 0.5. IGBC rating, this is Indian Green Building Council rating, which helps to understand how eco-friendly your building or the product is. So here, this building is already a gold LEED certified building, and that's the reason we are giving 0.25. OC received, yes, very much. The OC is already in place. We have a lot of good MNC tenants part of the building. So that's the reason I think 0.25 on 25. Can this be subdivided with independent access? Yes, very much. Premise can be, this is a 35,000 square feet approx premise, which can be subdivided with multiple entrances. So yes, it's again, we can give us 0.25 on 25. Asset location. Now we all know, as I mentioned, that Seawoods is a location is amazing. It has a station. It has an amazing connectivity. So connectivity to the Mumbai International Airport is 35 kilometers. Navi Mumbai International Airport, which is upcoming, is approximately 7 kilometers away from the site. You have water taxi, which is there available at 4 kilometers. You have a railway station right below your unit. That is the premise is built on the station itself. So it's 0 kilometers. You have an upcoming metro station which is 3 kilometers away from your building. You have the upcoming Nava Sheva ceiling, Trans Harbour ceiling. Now that road is approximately 10 kilometers from the site and will be operational soon, which will cut down the travel time from South Mumbai to the site or to Nava Sheva port from 1.5 hours to just half an hour. And then you have Vashi Bridge, which is a connector right now between Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, which is 10 kilometers away. All in all, we know that this is a very strong location to be in, considering the further future appreciation that is already lying in place. And that's the reason we are going ahead with 0.75 on 0.75. And that's the reason know your asset is at 1.9 on 2. Know your deal. The duration for this particular deal is 6 years and it is well in the standards that we maintain. So that's the reason we are giving 0.25 on 25. Lock-in is 0.2 on 3. That's the reason because it is 2.3 years in this case. We generally go in for 3 years minimum lock-in, and this is slightly lesser than 3 years, and that's the reason we have taken 0.1 away. Penalty corporate guarantee. Now, at present, we are awaiting a confirmation for this from the Stratas, and we are right now going ahead. As of now, we don't have any knowledge about the corporate guarantee being in place or the penalty being in place. So we are awaiting the document. I think that's the reason we'll give 0 and 0.2. Registered agreement, registered ATL or LOI. ATL is basically agreement to lease, and LOI is basically letter of intent. Here, absolutely, it's already an ongoing lease which is there. So the agreements are already in place, and that's the reason we are going with 0.5 on 0.5. Increment, again, this is 15% every 3 years. Our standards are 5% every year, 50% 3 years, and that's the reason we'll give 0.5 on 0.5. Rent start date, again, in this case, it's an ongoing lease where once the documentation gets over, the rent will immediately start for the investors, and that's the reason we are giving 0.25 on 0.25. Deposit here, again, we have 10 months of deposit as a part of the deal, and this is fantastic because our standard is 6 months and we have more than 6 months, so basically 0.25 on 0.25. Notice period, we have here of 3 months notice period now, which is something that is, as we have shown in our deal structuring, that we'll give for 3 to 5 months and 0 for less than 3 months and 0.25 for 6 months. Here we have, so all in all, know your deal stands at 2.1 on 2.5. The button is with you, Raj.
So we now come to know your ROI. Kitna deti hai is the question. And the ROI, the first 3-year net average return on investment, this is just the rental yield, is 7.92. We would like 8%, but this is just 0.08% less. We don't want to be nitpicking, so therefore we give it 1 on 1. In terms of lower or in and around the market rentals, they are going to be paying us 90 rupees, and the market is between 80 to 95 rupees for a similar grade property, and therefore we give it 0.5 on 0.5. The capital expenditure by tenant, in this case, the tenant has made a lot of expenditure. In fact, the original agreement was for 10 years. It was a 10-year lease. Now that the time has lapsed, we have a balance of 6 years. So from that perspective, because they've spent money, we would be giving them 0.5 on 0.5. So know your ROI is 2 on 2. I must also tell you that the ROI is not just limited to the rental yield. There's also capital appreciation, and combining the rental yield and the capital appreciation, the targeted IRR from Strata's end is about 13%. Of course, this carries an element of market related dynamics. It could be 10%, it could even be 15%. But that's something that we have to wait and watch. But the entry point that they have gotten at is very exciting. And therefore, we believe this is going to be a good opportunity. Coming to knowing your asset, the asset manager background and team, the CEO Sudarshan is a lawyer himself. He's got a vast experience about real estate per se, and they've consistently proven themselves. Apart from that, they have been funded. They have been able to pick up funding from Mayfield, Kotak, all these big names, and therefore we are confident about the asset manager and the team. Therefore, we give it 0.5 on 0.5. Is the asset manager profitable? Not yet. So 0 on 0.25 there. Do they have a dashboard to track all investments with ledgers, TDS certificates, etc.? They do. Strata has invested significantly in technology, and this makes to make their clients' life simpler, and therefore we give it 0.25 on 0.25. Profitable exit given for any asset? Not yet. They've been around for just in about 3 years. We expect that in the next 2 years, they would give an exit, because giving an exit for a property, 3 years seem a bit of a short time. So we have to wait till they do that. Until then, we'll continue to give them 0 on 0.25. Total assets under management, the reason why this is important is because there is a steep learning curve. It's not just about putting the property on the block, it's also about the entire process, right from the time you reach out to the clients, the entire process of onboarding them, and even post that execution and ensuring that the rentals, etc., all of that is in place, and there is no need for communication or questions from the client. So you preempt a lot of things and build processes around that, so that clients clearly know that what is expected, and they don't have to keep asking that, okay, what's happening now, when is this happening. So all of that does take time and experience. So they have 750 cr under their belt, which shows in the way they function, and therefore we give it 0.25 on 0.25 there. The hurdle rate is 10, so we give it 0.4 on 0.5 there, because we would like it to be 12%. To explain this further, about 10% IRR that Strata gives you as an investor, they'll take a 20% performance fee. Let's take a hypothetical example. You've invested 100 rupees with them. The IRR is 12 rupees on an annual basis. And because the hurdle rate is 10, and which will amount to 10 rupees in this case, so anything above 10, which is 2 rupees, given that it's a 12% IRR, they will charge you 20% on 2 rupees, which happens to be 40 paise. And this is applicable only during the exit, and it's not an annual fee. With that, knowing our 25 paise, the rating, of course, says it all. It's a great asset, good location, excellent tenant. And besides that, the fact that the ongoing infrastructure work, which will get completed between 2024 and 2026, we feel gives us a good opportunity to invest in this property at this point in time, and that they've got a good pricing, a good buy. And of course, the asset manager is somebody that has proven themselves. And therefore, with that, we believe that this should be invested in. And so 0.25 on 0.25 there. With that, our total is 8.65 on 10. And if you have any questions about this, please call us and we'd be happy to answer that.